What's going on, everybody? Feels great to be back. So, as everybody knows, we had RTN season this last weekend, and I played in exactly one CCRTN. So, I guess before we get into that, I'm going to go over like a recap of kind of like what we're doing today, what we're going to talk about, things like that. So, our number one goal is we're going to talk about just how my RTN went, just general, how that all went down. And then we're going to go over what we think is going to happen with the meta after Oldham officially LLs and Briar probably doesn't. So then we're going to go over. I had a request in our Discord, and like I said, feel free if there's ever a topic that you want me to cover. Marvin in the Discord requested me go over deck building. And so I'm going to spend about 10, 15, just a short amount of time, but like cover like my thought process when I'm looking to build a new deck because I guess I've started to get a kind of reputation on like building kind of unique things, right? Whether it be the Goliath Gauntlet Block 4 or Briar deck, or running Rusted Relics in Nats and getting 13th. Whether it be the Axe's Dory list, or unique fatigue options within Katsu and Briar. Just kind of like some thought process on how I come to those conclusions in overall deck building and like what my process is. To kind of give value to everybody watching on like how you can approach your deck building and extract more value from the goals that you're trying to accomplish with a specific deck. So that's, and then we're going to close out with playing some games with, you guessed it, not Briar. I'm actually going to play some Riptide games today. So we're going to have a little bit of fun. We're going to relax. We're going to meme on some people. Maybe it's actually a good deck. Who knows? We'll figure it out. What's up, Will? What's up, Howell? Siffin, good to see you, man. Examine Fabric deck stats. That's right, absolutely. If you haven't, head on over to fabric.gg. It's a great tool to utilize when looking at deck statistics or like new cards, right? One unique thing that I do is I go to Fabric and I click on the hero that I'm deck building for, and I scroll all the way down and look at the cards that are not found in most lists and just ask myself, are these people just out to lunch, or am I missing something? And kind of look at each card and say, okay, does that have a place? Does that have a place? And just go through those cards. And I've actually found some stuff. So, great resource. Great resource. Don't sleep on it. There's a link in the description of the video that'll take you straight there. So, Justin, you didn't miss anything. I was just talking about how I'm going to play some janky Riptide list after our discussion or whatever. It's not janky. I gave Justin a lot of crap, but it's actually pretty good. It's not like meta breaking. Well, maybe. I mean, it might be after Oldham leaves. That's kind of where I'm at with it. So, let's kick things off with RTN. So I went, like I said earlier, I went to one CC RTN. I played Briar, of course, surprise. And I ended up going undefeated in Swiss. And not just any undefeated. I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but like what I'm trying to, put in perspective is in my local area, there's a lot of strong players. Within my RTN, I played 3 people in Swiss that had constructed elos around 1700. And luckily we're able to beat every one of them. It wasn't easy. Most of the games were close. That's just how they always end up. That's not too many times in Flesh and Blood do you win by a lot, and that shows how balanced the game is. I also, if you stick around to the end of the not the end of the stream, but just the end of the RTN portion, I have a hilarious story about something that went down between me and Damien. We ended up playing in the RTN. Hilarious. I'll go over that in just a second. So I went undefeated in Swiss. My matchups were Azuri, Fi, Dromai, Oldham. Okay. We won all those. Like I said, 3 of them were 1700 elo players. Really strong players. All 3 of them were top 100 global. And then so I'm doing things right. I'm playing amazing Flesh and Blood. I'm making the right plays at the right time. Just playing really clean. Really happy with my play. No mistakes. No missed tunics. No missed embodiments. No nothing. Just good, clean, well played Flesh and Blood. And then my first match in top 8. I play against Alexi. Right? And I know you're thinking, oh man, that's a bad matchup. Well, I don't think it's actually that bad. But it is bad when I choose to go second, right? Because I want to start with tempo. I think that's the correct play. And I proceed to draw my hand, and it's Earth Blue, Channel Mount Heroic, and Pulse. So I have no attack. And he loads a Sikkim shot and then arsenals and passes. Yeah. So I literally just play Channel Mount Heroic and swing Rosetta Thorn. And that's my starting with tempo. And you just can't win, right? Because he proceeded to double pre-med Sikkim shot into a 3 of a kind and put me to 20 off of the first turn. And I had no embodiment, right? Because I didn't have an attack to throw. So I literally just took 20, threw a couple attacks for 7, and I just started so far behind. I was able to get him down to 1, and he killed me with a lightning press. So we went undefeated in Swiss just to lose the first top 8 game due to drawing no attacks. And I couldn't card count my way out of it. It was the first hand. So it's just super unfortunate. But that's okay. We're going to go to another one this weekend. And if we don't have the invite by then, we got 2 more the next weekend. So that's the plan. This one is CC. And then next weekend, 1 is CC, 1 is draft. So that's how the RTN went. Overall, I'm happy. I'm sad that I bricked at where I would have rather bricked round 5 where it didn't matter. But, it happens. That's card games. That's why we're not playing chess, right? If we wanted equal variance every single time, we'd be playing chess instead of card games. So the funny story, this is hilarious. We were laughing so loud when it happened. Everybody in the whole RTN was looking at us when it happened. So me and Damien were playing, and if you've ever played while we're in the same room, we always just talk shit at each other and stuff like that. And we're just having a good time, right? Don't really take it all that serious. It's the same guy. If you listened in the previous stream that was I was like rabble for 6, and he goes take 6, and I was like you're at 6, and he goes thinking on blocks. Same guy. Okay, and so he's playing 5 and I'm playing Briar, and I open up with a this round's on me. Unfortunately, I did not have an attack. It basically came down to I had to pitch. The card that I drew was an E-Strike, and the only other card in my hand was a Channel Mount Heroic, and I didn't want to pitch it. So I Rosetted, and he just took 2 and had a 5-card hand, so it's super unfortunate. But everything was -1, right? So he takes his turn, he throws it all at me, and he arsenals a card. And then at the beginning of my turn, I was like, hey, Damien, I'm just curious, what did I give you off that draw on this round's on me? And he goes, the Snatch. And I go, you didn't play a Snatch. And he just looks at his arsenal. So he basically indirectly told me he had a Snatch in arsenal, basically. Just because it was like a knee-jerk reaction to answer the question. Yeah, so don't be afraid to ask questions is the lesson we learned. But do be afraid to answer questions. But it was a good time. It was a great RTN. Also, before we head into the topic, um, I just want to do a little shout out, right? I want to shout out a lot of just overall aspects of Flesh and Blood. First is just LSS. You know, shout out to LSS for being a company that looks after the player first. I really do. They make mistakes? Absolutely. Do they do their best to fix them? Absolutely. Do they know more than we do? Absolutely. So a lot of decisions they make, you know, seem like they're not in our best interest, but I have full confidence that every decision they make has so much thought behind it. And just like, you know, they fixed the whole signature cards or serialized cards are only in Belgium print because of, you know, they found a solution. They did it, right? Because they wanted the players to be happy, not just to buy more but like I truly think that the players are the number one priority, and then it's the business stay afloat. Like truly, I do believe that. Um, Another thing is just shout out to the community. Um, I give Damien a lot of crap. You know, I give just people like Damien and Jason and Austin and, you know, Jensen, all that, and like all, you know, Ed, all the locals, Jeremy, you know, just all of them just going to these RTNs and ProQuest. It's just a whole nother experience. Um, and it gets better every time, right? Like, um, I I I always worried when I started this that friendships can't really exist in a super competitive environment. But I was wrong, like truly. I've never seen just a group of people just look out for each other, just be like, you know, they're there to have a good time. Does everybody in the room want to win? Absolutely, that's everybody's goal. But nobody that I've ever met at our ProQuest or RTN level has ever been willing to sacrifice the fact that they're there to have a good time over winning. Um, so, um, shout out to the local community in the Alabama, Huntsville, Tennessee area, in Georgia as well. Great guys, and the guys over in Georgia too. They're great. Andrew, Evan, you know, Justin, all of them. Really great guys over there. Um, the LGSs. I want to shout out the LGSs as well. Really, anybody that is involved with them, I really do appreciate. Um, it, Selling cardboard may not make sense at times from a monetary aspect, and it could be tough sometimes, right? But it's because they don't give up, like through Monarch, right? Like the stores that sold Monarch and then had to sit on Tales of Aria and Everfest and all that and go through that bad of a time. You know, they you know, some of them took a hit, right? And some of them stuck with it, some of them didn't. The ones that stuck with it, we really owe it to them to keep going. Yeah, I mean, like Austin's got a great point. The RTN that we went to, they gave us free water. Like they didn't have to. They had additional prize support. They gave out. Shout out to the judge. I don't know if you're gonna see this, but Ben, the judge at the Border Than Games RTN in Tennessee. Shout out to Ben. He already had the Volcor playmat, so he just gave it away. probably what, $300-$400 playmat. Just gave it away just because, you know, to give back to the community because he already had one. So huge shout out. I've never seen a community like this before. This is my first card game, but I highly doubt they're all like this. There's no way. I know the Yu-Gi-Oh's I know the Yu-Gi-Oh community is not like that. I tried that one before Flesh and Blood for exactly one armory, and I was like, nope, no thanks. Yeah, but yeah, just so many great things. I've been able to go to Orlando, France, the UK, Indianapolis twice, San Jose, Baltimore. You know, just all these different places, Jersey, um, to be able to hang out with all you guys and play the game that I love, and it's just been a great opportunity. And Flesh and Blood has really impacted my life a lot, and I wouldn't change it for anything. And she's probably never going to hear this, but shout out to the wife too, because if it wasn't for her, for those of you who don't know, I have 2 kids. If it wasn't for her holding down the home base, it wouldn't be possible, right? So, shout out to her, absolutely. Yep, trying to get to Vegas, absolutely. So I'm done shouting out. We'll move on. You know, start talking about some actual cardboard. Just want to put that out there, man. Like, all that I ask everybody is just don't take it for granted, right? Strive to continue it. Um, you know, just do whatever you can to keep it going. Okay, so topic number 1. I don't have a fancy chart for you. I thought it was too premature without Dusk Till Dawn spoiler cards to do like an actual tier list. I'm just gonna go over like who's winners and who is losers for um for Oldhim leaving the format. And we can also go over what could happen if I don't think Briar will leave the format, but we'll touch on it just a little bit. I highly doubt she will. But we can see what happens. I think that game actually being fun to play Cough Cough Yuki. What? You don't like sitting there watching somebody else play their 15-minute turn and then kill you? That's not fun to you? I've never seen somebody willing to pay $500 for a deck just to watch somebody else play the game. Oh, Yu-Gi-Oh! It's a whole nother thing. Okay. FAB stands for friends and buddies. Absolutely. Absolutely. Also, to touch on the coaching thing, all 10 slots for the discounted rate have been filled. So thank you all to whoever took part in that. I really do appreciate it. The new rate going forward will be $30 an hour. If anybody's looking for coaching, just hit me up on the Discord. Just hop in our Discord and send me a message, and I would love to help you out with that. So let's hop into the subject for Oldhim, the old man leaving the meta. Okay. So first thing off the rip, if Briar doesn't LL, Briar gets a lot worse when Oldhim's gone. Right? Because Oldhim was one of those matches that you kind of looked forward to. You have the anti-fatigue package within 2 cards. You're not really affected by those limitations. My thought process on what decks benefit the most from Oldhim leaving are the ones that had to tech heavily for the possibility of fatigue. Let me give you an example. Let's talk about Dorinthia. Okay. Dorinthia had to run like 3 routes, 3 overpowers, red, just a couple remembrances just to like have enough juice to get there, right? She doesn't need that anymore. Like the only deck that can possibly fatigue her like that is like Bravo, but he doesn't have the prevention mechanic, so you can literally deck Bravo out. Um, you have that possibility if you play well. You just have to work through their D reacts and then start applying pressures and making sure you keep rainbow shunts. You literally had to kill him with shunt damage. You don't need that anymore, right? So Dory theoretically, yeah, Josh is in here. Hey, he played a shatter or two for the longest, just to for those of you who don't know the interaction. Well, if you apply prevention and you put the rampart out and he plays shatter, then it'll break the rampart because with prevention it technically hits and then the damage is prevented, right? And then shatter says you can replace the damage with. It's kind of like that ball lightning arcane interaction. It's the same thing. It's a replacement effect, not a on hit effect. Um, so yeah. So Dorinthia gets a lot of sideboard slots, right? Let's look at. Let me get just a list of heroes so I don't miss anybody. I'm just gonna go down the list and just talk about like, hey, what does this person gain, right? Um, Arachne and Azuri, I'll kind of lump them together into the same category. Um, they probably don't have to run as many remembrances, right? You could even cut down on some of the shreds. Um, you just you really it allows Azuri to go more redline to have a better Dromai matchup. More hurls, more rabbles, E strikes, stuff like that. The Dromai matchup's never going to be great. I don't care how many sideboard slots you have. But you can make it better, right? Azalea theoretically could drop the whole. I know some people are playing like Dreadbore, trying to get a little fancy with it. But you just don't have to worry about that fatigue. So you get just a lot of benefit, right? And then Bravo can get rid of his remembrance, right? He used to keep one remembrance typically in there to get the cripplings back, just to keep the pressure on or pulverize, whichever you prefer. Dash doesn't really change because she needs that pistol plan for Bravo and a couple other people. So Dromai, you need the pistol plan. You still need that pistol plan. Now, could you make room for like? Could you go back to the Talishar / pistol plan? Like maybe there might be an extra sideboard slot or two that you could afford. Dromai, nothing really changes for Dromai because you still have Bravo out there, so you can't like cut Ghostly Touch, right? Unless you haven't been on it. Yeah, exactly. Just like he said, Azalea and Azuri can build a better Lexi and Oldhim matchup. But it's interesting that you mentioned Lexi. I'm gonna be honest. I think Lexi is the biggest winner for Oldhim leaving. I think literally it puts Lexi in a situation to where she can run a heavy ice package in the sideboard without paying any type of opportunity cost, right? Because the 9 winners bite package that was ran at the Pro Tour, the idea behind that is to be better in the mirror match but suffer a little bit in the Oldhim match. Well, Oldham's gone, right? Does Bravo punish you? Yeah, but there's no way there's as many Bravos as there will be Oldhams. There's no shot that happens. going on to 5. It was a favorable matchup for him. Nothing changes. Icelander takes a hit. Why does Icelander take a hit? Well, you still need the Frost Hex package because there are still slower decks, right? And that was one of her favorable matchups. So she lost that, which is super unfortunate for her. Kano also takes a hit. That was one of his freebies, if you will. Here's another big winner. Katsu. Katsu benefits so much from Oldhim being gone. It's not even funny. Katsu is literally to the point to... That's a good point. I think they could take back some of the suspensions for Icelander. It'll never be hypothermia. But she could get Amulet of Ice. Well, then you're giving it to Lexi. So pump the brakes on that one. But I don't know. We'll see. I wouldn't be surprised. But it can't be hypothermia. There's no way that happens. But back to Katsu. Katsu can literally abandon the Mugenchi line if he wants to, right? And he definitely doesn't have to run any of those stupid dojo cards or shurikens or, because even decks like Bravo that could possibly want to extend the game and kind of like fatigue him out, you can't stop the Kodachis. Oldhim was the only deck that could stop Kodachi every single turn without leaking damage, right? Because of Rampart and then the prevention. So Katsu is just such a... Katsu got probably 7 to 8 sideboard slots with Oldhim leaving the format. At least 7 to 8 sideboard slots. I'm not advocating that you should abandon the Mugenchi line. I'm just saying that you can. Previously, you had to have the Mugenchi line and do like the time snap potion into Mugenchi to shortcut it, to reload your deck in case you were getting fatigued, right? You had to have that option. Kodachi 5 may end up a bit better as well. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Anybody running Kodachis, you're way better now. Levia, I don't think much changes for Levia. I mean, it was probably a bad matchup, sure. But I don't think that it changes like fundamentally sideboard slots. Lexi, we already talked about her. We already went over Lexi. Oldhim's is the one we're talking about impacting. Reinar has the ability to open up sideboard slots. Maybe he doesn't want to run Reincarnate. Maybe I'm not sure if they're going to abandon the whole Remembrance back in Blood Rush Bellow to replay them. Oh, man. Jeffrey, I'm glad you said it. Oh, I'm glad you said it. He said Levia moves up a spot due to there being one less CC here. Oh, no, he didn't. No, he didn't. Oh, man. Oh, that's brutal. But yes, Axe's Dory. I think Axe's Dory has... Those of you who watch this stream, I'm going to let you know what my thought process is going into this new meta. and I hope somebody else can take it and run with it because I think I'm really onto something. Dynamos, right? Is the new Rampart. Dynamos is the new Rampart. If the ninjas come out to play in masses, if you dynamo the second Kodachi, you prevent damage and you completely turn off their mask. Right? So I think Axe's Door, you don't have to run the 13 and a half remembrances, you just have one in there for Dromai to recycle the cleaves. But Axe's Dory has a lot of potential. Calling it now that the Dynamos are the new Rampart. Yeah, Reinar liked facing Oldhim, absolutely. It's just I don't know if Reinar uses the Remembrance Blood Rush Bellows cycle against anybody else. I'm not particularly sure. Yeah, Dromai might could cut like Red Dust. Right? Because I guess it would just depend on how much you want to give up the Bravo match. Maybe you still need the Red Dust for Bravo, but maybe it's not just worth that one match. Riptide gets a lot better. That's why we're playing him today. Because you just can't get fatigued outright. Or it's a lot harder for other decks to do it. It's possible, but a lot harder. Bolton gets a lot better. It's always been a tough matchup for Bolton. Azuri, we already talked about. Viserai doesn't really change him too much. You could probably just drop the whole 9th blade package if you're on that. Dynamo being weakened to Rangers, I actually disagree with that. If Dynamos get hit with Drill Shot, you just don't block with them for one turn, right? Because it's just going to keep removing the counter. It's not like Rampart, where your basis is 0 every single turn and you go up. Dynamo says remove a -1 counter. So let's say you block with it on the Drill Shot and the Drill Shot hits, right? You have 2 counters on the Dynamos, right? And then so next turn you attack twice, remove 1. Next turn, attack twice, remove 1. And then they're back up and running, right? So all Drill Shot does to Dynamos is say, you can't block with them this next turn. That's all it says. So it's the new and improved Rampart. Let's put it that way. Yeah, so that's kind of my thoughts on what the decks to look out for. Okay. I am in the ballpark that because Oldhim is leaving, I think Lexi really needs to take a hit. It doesn't have to be a major hit. But she's got to I think she's got to lose something, right? The Dromai matchup isn't that bad. Azuri is your only true like bad matchup now. Like I don't know. I think Lexi will have too good of an opportunity to have a heavy ice sideboard and nobody there to punish it, which is a very dangerous combination. So that's my thought process. Any questions on an Oldhimless meta? Yeah, Hate Seeker, Endless Arrow, just something small, right? We don't have to go for the throat and hit Voltaire or Seeker or New Horizons. Almost said Seek Horizon. Yeah, that card can stay. That card can stay. Um, you actually only need one remembrance and time snap for Bravo. Okay, easy, right? Um, so Oldhimless meta. If nothing changes on the ban and restricted announcement, I think you're either playing. I think Lexi will be best deck, specifically Lexi with a heavy ice package. Then you will have the Lexi counters, Azuri and Dromai, and then you'll have ninjas. Like that's it. It's basically play that or nothing, unfortunately. Um yeah, because the Rune Blades fall off because that Oldhim was one of their best matchups. Bravo just ain't doing it. He's bad at math. Can't get value. Azalea's fine because it kind of shuts down the Lexi, but um I went over Riptide very quickly. It's yeah, Azalea's fine. Yeah, I think people are gonna go to Ninja and they're gonna get shut down hard by Ice Lexi. I think that's what I'm estimating happens. And I'm not sure there's anything in the Ninja toolkit that the problem with Ninja and the problem with a lot of decks is they operate on a very streamlined like resource curve, right? And anytime you throw a frostbite in that, it just hurts. Yeah, Riptide's fine in the new meta. He's a lot better because Oldhim left. One less person to fatigue him. Yep, Dory, both versions, Dawnblade and Axis Dory gets a lot better. um, Rip Belittle. Tell you what, if there was ever a time to bring it back. Okay, I'm gonna go over a little section about deck building, and we will. He's not that bad in Oldhim, but it's definitely not what you want to face. Um, I like that. I like that. When everybody's pitching paycheck to paycheck, I like that. That's a good one. That is a good. I'm gonna have to use that. Um. Yeah, I don't know if if I'm able to do this. Josh, are you still in here? Let me know if I can break the news about our gig. If I can share it or not. If I can't, just say so, and I won't. Um, we'll come back to that if he Rogers up. Um, so yeah, let's go over deck building. Kind of my process in what I go through when I'm trying to build a new deck. Okay. So as far as building a new list, I think it has to stem from something, right? Either okay. Josh said we can share. So just so everybody knows, me and Joshua Lau were asked to, I guess if I wanted to be grammatically correct, it would be Joshua Lau and I, were asked to commentate the Hong Kong Nationals. And thankfully, it did not line up on the same weekend as US Nats. So if you are at all possible to be there and support that, that would mean the world to both of us. It's something that we did for the first Hong Kong Nats. Um, I was very new to the game, so I wasn't very I guess you could say I wasn't very proud of my performance and how I did it, but I get another opportunity after, you know, doing the streaming and, commentating the other matches on the YouTube channel and stuff like that. I know we're going to kill it. And I'm just so glad that we got the opportunity to kind of rewrite that story. Um, so we really looking forward to commentating. Yeah, because we did we got to commentate the Battle Harden, but this one will be Nationals. So it'll be our second time commentating Hong Kong Nats, and really looking forward to that. I can't wait to stay up till, what was it, Josh? It had to have been 7 or 8 in the morning due to the time difference. I think we started at like 8 at night Central Time, and we finished at like 6. Boy, it was tough, but really looking forward to that. Also, another reason to love LSS. Okay, me and Josh did the commentary for the Hong Kong Nats. Nobody, the store that ran it asked us to do it. It wasn't something like put on by LSS or anything like that. But LSS reached out to us and gave us a gift for doing that. It was never asked. We never asked for something. We did it because we loved it, and we love that community, and some of the best players are over there, and we just love Flesh and Blood, right? So why wouldn't we do it? But they sent us a hefty gift, if I can say so myself, with nobody asking. A handwritten thank you letter. Just they really do go above and beyond for people that support the game. Absolutely. So super excited about that opportunity. Please join us if you're able to. If it's too late, I definitely understand. Definitely understand. But there will be a VOD, of course, so you can go rewatch it. However, for the longest time, the finals game that me and him commentated was actually the most. I think it was the most viewed video or one of the most viewed videos on the Flesh and Blood official YouTube channel. So it was such a good game. If you get the chance, go look at the first Hong Kong Nats finals match between Chain, Oldham. It was Bun and Jack on Oldham. Bun was on Chain. Such an amazing game. It truly was. Yeah, so we'll go ahead and move on to deck building. I just want to share that with y'all. I had to get Josh's approval because I didn't know if that was public knowledge or not, or whatever the case may be. So glad I was able to share that with everybody. Super excited about it. Hope you can join us. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about deck building. Okay, so why would somebody want to build a deck? I know that sounds like a silly question, right? But it has to stem from something. Either you're not happy with the way your list is performance, or the more likely scenario, the meta has changed and you're trying to answer it, right? So the first thing you need to do is decide, when you're building a new deck, are you answering a question or are you asking one? Now, what do I mean when I say that? Okay. When I use the phrase asking a question, what I mean is you were doing something so linear, right? And so, for example, Fi back with Stubby Hammers, right? He said, I'm going to deal 40 damage to you within 4 turns. What are you going to do about it? That's asking a question, right? On the flip side, Fatigue Oldham is saying, I'm going to block 120 of your damage. What are you going to do about it, right? Those are asking questions. It's forcing your opponent to answer what you're trying to do. That is asking a question. Answering a question is when there's a predetermined boogeyman or a predetermined strategy in saying, I'm going to do this to kick your ass, basically, is what it boils down to, right? An example of that was when I put Rusted Relic in my Briar list to beat Icelander. I said, I don't want to lose that match. I developed a new strategy that worked to beat Icelander with Briar. And it worked great until Wounded Bull became a thing. So it attacked what was perceived at that moment in time. Yeah. So another example would be, Azuri targeting Lexi, right? That is answering a question. You want to play 14 cards out of Arsenal? I'm going to threaten your arsenal every single turn, right? That's answering the question. So first things first, you have to either say that you're asking a question or answering it. Okay? Then you have to, so I think a common misstep is when people pick a hero, then start deck building. I think the best way to go about it is to pick your question that you want to ask or your answer, and then go through all the heroes and say, does this hero have the toolkit to answer that question or ask that question? Or does that hero have a question they even can ask, right? It's a valid question. I just realized I'm saying like question like 14,000 times, but we'll roll with it. So yeah. So I'm going to give an example. Let's say that we think we're just going to use the hypothetical situation that Ice Lexi is going to be the bee's knees after Oldhim leaves, right? She's going to be, the next LL hero. She'll probably get there before Briar does at this point. So we want to build a deck that beats, Ice Lexi. Okay, so we go through, right? We say Arachne. We can fatigue Ice Lexi, maybe, right? But Arachne operates on the whole 0 for 4 philosophy, which doesn't work if you have a Frostbite, right? You can't throw the Leave No Witness. Well, you can, but you got to use 2 cards to do it. And then you just lose the efficiency game, right? And so Arachne doesn't really work very well. And as Azuri gets in a rough spot too, believe it or not. Because a lot of her disruption is revolved around not having to pitch for it, right? So both assassins are probably going to be a lot worse into Ice Lexi than regular Fuseless Lexi, right? Azalea, right? Azalea, out of all these heroes, with the exception of Dromine, is the most likely to have a stroke when they get a frostbite. Right? I mean, imagine not having to have an Arctic incarceration to shut an opponent down. Imagine just needing one frostbite. Yeah, Valrag said paycheck to paycheck. Azalea resource curve is a payday loan, is basically what's going on there. Everything is so thin, and at times, you're pitching reds to load bow, and if you get one frostbite, you're now pitching 2 cards just to put a card somewhere where you can throw it. And you're never winning that match if you're doing that, right? Sure, Red and Ledger's a great card. I get it. But the more ice Lexi goes ice, the more the matchup goes in Lexi's favor toward Azalea. Okay? Bravo. Does Bravo have an answer to Ice Lexi? Well, he kind of does. Right? He has Disruption. He has a Fridge. He has access to 2 Cost D reacts that can clear the Frostbite on Lexi's turn. Right? So that's where my wheels would be turning. I'd be like, okay. You know, Staunch doesn't trigger Anathos, right? But what if you don't need it to, right? What if you just need Staunch to be a Staunch, right? It does feel like a lot of the Lexi versus Azalea matchups is if Azalea has a blue on the Arctic Incarceration turn. Absolutely. Absolutely. It literally ruins your turn every single time. So Bravo would be a hero I would write down. I would say Bravo at least has the card pool and the armor and the disruption to feasibly answer the question. Okay, so I would write Bravo on a piece of paper. Briar can't answer that question. She can't. Yeah, you're absolutely right that the margins are thin on the Bravo plays. But you have the option to just block out, and you can literally fatigue a Lexi that goes heavy ice, because you have really strong free. It's just possible. That's something that you would have to test, but it's theoretically doable. So Briar has a shot if she's running a bunch of three block non-attacks and she plays the whole value game. The problem is she's going to have to pivot to a strategy like Crown of Seeds to activate it on Lexi's turn after she flips the ice card over to clear the Frostbite on Lexi's turn, so then she can theoretically play the 0 for 4. Right? So Briar can possibly, but she's so close to LL that we'll just say that she's on vacation. Dash has the ability to answer Ice Lexi. Half her deck is almost blue. She has cards like Tekla Core, right, that give her resources. She's one of the best heroes to utilize X amount of resources no matter how the hand lays down, right? Her hand could be whatever, and she could find an efficient way because of the way the weapons are designed to utilize 1 blue or 2 blues. All right, and if you throw a Frostbite in there, okay, she just doesn't fire the pistol the second time. Whoop-de-doo. Right? She could find a way to still be as efficient as possible and block very well. So Dash has a toolkit. So I would write Dash's name down. So far my list would be Bravo, Briar with Crown of Seeds, Dash, Dory. Dory's going to have to take the back seat on this one. Ice Lexi. Dory's one of those heroes that Ice Lexi has the unique ability to shut Dory down without having to lay her hand down. Right? So if there's ever a time where Ice Lexi presents 1 to 2 Frostbites and catches Dory without a blue or maybe even 2, then you get the ability to reset the counter without running the risk of laying your hand down and getting twinning bladed, right? So I think she's very susceptible to the ice tax. Dorinthia operates on a very fine curve that's very strict, to the point to where you literally have to build the deck a certain way and you can't play certain cards that are considered good, but because they cost 1, you just can't do it because it doesn't fit what you're trying to do. Dromai. This might be a hot take. Okay. For Dromai, I think Ice Lexi, theoretically, if the deck was built properly, has the possibility to be better into Dromai. Now, before, I know Prodigy was in the chat. So, before you say I'm dumb, just, hear me out on this one. And then you can tell me I'm dumb, right? The whole basis of the Dromai matchup is you're trying to establish a board state of dragons and then play a zero cost, go again, whatever. And then play your dragons out, right? But when Lexi starts running cards like, Blizzard Bolt or Chilling Ice Vein or, cards like that, Shock Charmers, whatever they decide to do, right? Then it's now a 2-card investment at least to swing with your dragons because you're going to have to play the 0 cost, whatever sigil, rabble, whatever your thing is, right? But you have to pitch a whole nother card to play for the Frostbite. Now, sure, you get the Ash for it. Okay, we can agree that is a positive. But having 20 Ash isn't going to help you, right? If you're making 2 Ash every turn, you're going to have too much, right? You're going to die. Lexi's going to take all that Ash and then throw it on your body when she buries you is what's going to happen. It's just not going to serve any purpose, theoretically. Because we're talking like strong Ice Lexi, where every turn she is starting the turn with flipping an Ice card over, giving you a Frostbite, playing something else out. Okay. So Justin Evans, we tested that one a bunch. Once the Lexi stumbles and misses a fuse disruption, the Dromai gets the build, a small board that sticks around and eventually wins. Okay. So I'm more than willing to accept that I'm wrong there, but once again, I don't think it's as good of a matchup for Dromai as it is currently. Okay? So that's my main point of saying that. I'm in no way saying that it's Lexi favored. What I'm saying is I'm a believer that it is probably better for Lexi than the current state that Lexi's in. So therefore, I would not write down Dromai on my list. I'm not saying that Dromai is bad. I think Dromai will be a very good deck after Oldhim leaves. I'm just using this as an example of we are trying to answer the question of Ice Lexi. That's it. Icelander. Icelander's an interesting one because you can tax at certain times. You can tax her before she taxes you. And I think if you stepped away from the whole Wounded Bull strategy because it doesn't fit the curve, right? You could build a Icelander deck with like the Eisenhower Weather Vanes and stuff like that to counter, right? You have that opportunity. So I would write Icelander down. So far on my list would be Bravo, Briar with Crown of Seeds, Dash, and Icelander. Okay, let me get caught up on chat. I was the Azura you played round 1 of the RTN weekend. Good playing with you. Absolutely. I wish I could have done a tad bit better on that last game, but I appreciate it. I'll be back in North Alabama this weekend. Maybe I'll see you there. Margin's pretty thin. Yep, I agree. Yeah, math is just words. Yeah. I don't think they'll be full ice, but I think they'll run enough ice to try and gain advantage in the mirror. and you get more sideboard slots because you don't need to run as many arrows because Oldhim's gone. That's my theoretical concept. Fi. Fi with no belittle cannot really combat Ice Lexi, period. Just can't, right? Kano. Kano actually gets tricky because Ice Lexi could run Shock Charmers, which is Spell Void, put on enough pressure with Frostbites and everything else that Kano can't chip down on his turn, so he has to play inefficiently off the top of his deck. So I think Kano is not an answer for Ice Lexi. And then Heart of Ice is a card, right? Katsu, same reason for Fi. Katsu cannot answer the Ice Lexi problem. He needs that blue to threaten Mask, which is the whole reason you're running him, right? Levia. Levia can't answer that question. Same reason Reinar can't. I mean, yes, you can block very well, but there's nothing that you're going to do. What does Blood Rush Bellow when you've been hit with a Chilling Ice Vein or Arctic Incarcerated, right? And you have a Frostbite. Like, you're going to Blood Rush Bellow and maybe swing 2 claws, right? That's it. Turn over. Riptide. You're going to have to change the deck. You're going to have to go more blues and stuff like that. But I think because the way the traps work, you have the ability to... Austin, you said Reinar is gas into Ice Lexi. You'll have to explain that one to me. So Riptide could theoretically, because he runs the traps, he is more red line, which is bad. But he has the unique ability to clear the Frostbites on Lexi's turn. Any deck that can do that stands a chance. So I'd write Riptide down. Bolton has a stroke anytime Bolton lives paycheck to paycheck, like mentioned before. He's very tight on resources, whether he's comboing, whether he's doing raiding. It's tough out there. Azuri, we already mentioned her, and Arachne. You could go heavy blue. So I would write Azuri down, but I would write down heavy blue beside it, and go from there. Viscera, no go. You could take the Shrills out and go 1 cost with meet and greets and Spellblade strikes and stuff like that. You could reduce the mana card, but then you're just sacrificing every other matchup, and you're just not going anywhere. So Viscera is a no go. So I would take those lists, and I would say, okay, that's the question that I'm trying to answer, and these are the decks with the card pool to possibly answer said question. Okay, that is how I would approach it. Okay, since Lexi is on ice, has worse math. A deck with all block 3s can live a really long time. That's true. But there's so many tools now. I don't know. I don't know. But it's possible. I don't know. That's another thing you could do. Let's just say I'm just going to roll with just everything that has a bunch of 3 blocks, and then take that approach, and then ask yourself, why would I play Reinar over Levia? Because Reinar is better in every single way, so I'd run Reinar. Okay. Well, why am I running Reinar over Azuri? Because they both have a bunch of 3 blocks, and then you have to ask yourself the same question about Bravo and Dash, right? So you could take the theoretical Katsu actually does have game if Lexi starts going more ice. The reason being Turtle Katsu runs more blues and is defensive. His worst matchup was Oldhim. Yeah, I agree that Katsu gets better when Oldhim's gone, 100%. I specifically said that he was probably the best, the deck that gets the most by Oldhim leaving. And I don't think it's particularly close. However, Katsu is not the deck I would want to bring to answer Ice Lexi. I think with the new sideboard slots, Katsu could very easily answer Fuseless Lexi. If the meta stays in that form, you could run a higher D-React package that because you have so many sideboard slots now because you don't not running Dojo and Shuriken and all those cards. So you have more sideboard slots freed up. Okay. And then from there, we're going to kind of close it out here. But from that point, I would start building a deck, right? And I would select the deck, right? And then start picking cards in ratios that answer that question, okay? And then once you come up with your rough draft of what you are building, right? Say we landed on Bravo because of staunch response and disruption. Okay, well then we'd have to look at all our other matchups and say what are we losing and how do we, account for that, but not completely give up the Ice Lexi matchup and so forth, right? But more importantly, the biggest thing I can recommend, right, is going I guess the biggest point when you're talking about specific lists and specific cards, right, would be sideboard cards, right? That's probably where most people have the most questions. Is this a good sideboard card? Is it not? Whatever the case may be. And when I first played Flesh and Blood, I made the mistake that the sideboard was there to make it where your deck could be almost 50-50 into everything. And I'm here to say that is not why the sideboard exists. The sideboard exists to increase your win percentage into certain matchups. And it is perfectly okay. And most of the time, it is optimal to just say, I lose that one. Right? Is it risky? Yes. Right? What's a good example of a bad sideboarding decision? You remember back when there were Starvos that were running like 8 lead the charges to beat Prism? That is bad deck building, right? Because you're trying to spend 8 slots to take a 30% matchup, whatever the case it was, to what, 40? Maybe? That's back when they were trying the whole fatigue thing. Somebody was trying to run 9 lethal charges and fatigue Prism, just clean up the auras and stuff like that. It just didn't work. All those sideboard slots, you only gain 10%, right? It just isn't worth it. Just like Oldhim has always been on the plan of, I'm just giving up the Prism matchup. You could build an Oldhim deck that would be theoretically okay into Prism, probably 30 to 40 tops. If you just built it super aggressive, had a bunch of lethal charges, stuff like that, you could probably get it to 30 or 40. But it would take all of your sideboard, and it's never worth it, right? So I like to review all of my sideboard cards and ask myself, does this card, this is something that Josh told me that I'll never forget. There was something we were talking about, and he looked at me and he said, it sounds like you're trying to not lose instead of trying to win. So anytime I put a sideboard card in my deck, I ask myself, does this card help me win, or does it help me not lose? Because those are two different questions, right? Playing to not lose is not playing to win. Playing to not lose results in you still losing, but your opponent is at lower life. That is the net result of asking yourself that question. Whereas playing to win, you're actually trying to win the game, right? Which is why we're all playing it. So I will never. I appreciate that. Thank you for the support. I will keep doing it as long as there are people like you that send messages like that. I really do appreciate it. But yeah, it's that's the best way I can explain it, right? Is go through your sideboard cards and ask yourself, are you playing to win or are you playing to lose? And then also ask yourself that on overall strategies, right? Of like how you approach matchups, right? I think Bravo attacking auras is a good example of playing to not lose instead of playing to win against Prism, right? You basically just have to go face. You have no choice. Yeah. So that is going to wrap up the discussion, and now we're going to get into some good old Riptide games, right? I know everybody's excited. The deck we're going to play today is aggro copy. It's the list we're going to play. This is my first time playing this list. Give me a break if you don't mind. We're just having some fun, hanging out, seeing what Riptide's up to. Everybody in chat, let me know how your weekend went as far as RTN season goes. Okay, Azalea, we want every single trap, obviously, because trap good. It seemed like this is just a list. It seemed like every other time that he was playing it, he just ran like a whole bunch of cards. Let me see. We're gonna take out Murkmire's kind of good. I'm not gonna lie. We'll take out Rabble because it's not really executing the strategy that we're trying to do. And we'll run 70. We'll run slightly higher. All right, starting out with the dominate, and I have no traps. Good start. The analogy is even more relevant in Fab strategy because you could take a really bad block and be behind in tempo for the rest of the game. Absolutely. Well, chat, we just lost the game. What do we even do here? We literally just block with Sikkim. We will scar, triggering reload on the Falcon, assuming we don't draw a trap. I guess we can pay for the blood rot. Maybe. This is bad. GG. And we can't even play the Blood Rot. That's how bad that start is. The reason I ran 70 is I'm unfamiliar with the ratios, and I didn't want to take it down to a point to where you don't, not running enough. So straight off the rip, I do like the idea of double. I like Seek and Destroy Falcon Wing to get blocks, and then playing the other Seek and Destroy to load Endless Arrow. Using Riptide and then just arsenal the East Strike is what I like, but we'll see what comes out after. Scratch everything I just said. Well. Back to back. Clean. Yeah, everything is saying chat. Justin, it's getting to me too late to even consider any of it. Now, at least here, if he does dominate anything, we can play one of the traps out, arsenal the trap, playing the trap, and we can get 2 blocks in that way. That is at least ideal. I guess it would be endless because then we can block the whole hand. And we only trigger one of these. Is that 3 red in the ledgers back to back? This one did get codex, so that's fair. But I don't see this game going any other way because he still gets to ponder. Then I have to send the most depressing endless arrow that's gonna get. Doesn't even matter if he 3 blocks it. Like, it's gone anyway. Oh, this is bad. This is hot. This is how we get back in the game. You don't say so. Oh, you can't play T-Rex. You gotta be kidding me, bro. The one time this game, Frailty Trap's gonna be turned on. Can't play it. Wowza. I don't think I actually need New Horizon. You can just have it. Scar, Riptide Load, pitch the Frailty Trap to fire the Remorseless, and then we will fire this to make him pay for all his pumps. And then try and shut down with this is the goal. It looks like it's going to work. One damage. Yep. Get a card. Why not? Pump it all the way up, bro. Like, as high as you can get it. Let's just send it. Yeah, just keep it going. Yep, take that damage. Is it? Is it just 11? How about we go ahead and Boulder Trap, trigger Riptide, or not trigger Riptide because we have some in arsenal. Well, we'll deal a damage, and we'll put it on here, and we'll knock it down. We call that get wrecked. And then we will trigger Riptide, loading the Remorseless because it's the better arrow between the two. Because if it hits, it will get the Ponder. And we have established tempo after that hell of a run. So he played all 3 Red and Ledgers. One of them he played twice due to Codex. So we've been Red and Ledgered 4 times. Hopefully we can claw back in this one. Taylor Crawford. You have the name for now. Wait till next time. Wait till next time. Oh, a pump. That's exactly what we needed. To turn. Oh, and it has go again? Say no more. Say No more. How about I block 6 and deal you 2? And then I'll also load. Why not? Do I, though? Because I think I want a Death Dealer. And possibly draw a Pump. So yeah, we won't load with Riptide. We will block all the damage and deal 2. Why not? Okay. So we do want an Endless Arrow here. Pitching the Drill Shot. Go and load an Endless. Unfortunate, but we have options. We have a line. If this hits, we can make this into something. I bet you blocked this one, Chief. This is how we do it, chat. Yeah, give me them cards. That's a whole nother card. He just realized he can't get the armor. All right, I guess I'll artist on it. Why not? Oh, baby. Oh, baby. Why can't we be less life? So here, I actually like to trench. Gain the resource. We'll Death Dealer down the Bolton Shot. Because the Lace will give it go again. And then we can... Trying to think... Yep, this will give go again if he... I mean, the reload doesn't really do anything because we're just going to rip the Codex anyway. And probably throw like a Remorseless. Is there any other like really hot arrow? Not really. He is blocking this though because he's scared of the reload. We'll go ahead and... Yeah, I think we have to go for Remorseless here. And we'll discard the Whoa. We don't want to trigger Riptide. We want to discard. That was a good line. So we have tempo and we have a life lead, and we've been hit with 4 red and ledgers. So we started off losing this game hard, but we're... Oh. Don't mind if I do. Hit me with a rabble. Hit me with the Bolton Shot. I mean, it doesn't get the hand, right? But it deals the damage all day. That's a fact. All right, this one's pretty. I like Pitfall because it can just kill him. And this is why we're running the 70. If he tries to pivot to fatigue, we just have more threat density, and we're just fine. And that's why we run Trench to get the D-Racks out if we ever do gain like full tempo. So here, I'm gonna keep the E-Strike at the deck and load the Infecting Shot. That's pretty good. Yeah, why not? Might should have. Okay, so that's just game. Yep. So we got there after a very rough start. The idea on the E-Strike was I kind of wanted to arsenal the Pitfall Trap. I didn't know I was gonna get lucky and get another pump. So we played that one well. We were down like 20 life at the beginning due to some awful variants, and the Buzzsaw Trap got us back in the game. So that puts us up 1-0. Undefeated on Riptide. It's just one game, so we can't we can't use that language yet. Not yet. Okay, I don't know how this matchup goes. This will be fun. But I'm gonna do the exact. I'm just gonna play every card because these can go the distance. Tell me if I'm. Oh no. Yeah, it's a loss to Dromai. It is actually a pretty good list. It's not total meme. It's good against Lexi. I mean, Azalea had the best start she could have had, period. And we still got there with like 14 life. So, it's a good list. It's just so bad into Dromai. So bad. Against Lexi. I don't like the Rabbles because they block 2. All my traps will be turned on. Let's just run the stack. Yeah, let's just run it. Run the stack. Do you ever play Dromai? Or do you just steer clear? Yeah. One of the streams I played Mars List, I believe. The more aggressive Dromai. I think I did a stream. Maybe it was right before I started streaming. I don't hate Dromai. I don't have anything against it. I just like it's not it's just not my preferred play style, I guess you could say. But it's not the worst. Now this is this is interesting because the load is up. is face down. Or no, it's face up. No, but then, yeah, I'm gonna have to discard the tar pit trap if I want to play the Codex, and I'm not entirely sure that I want to. All in the smack, I'm talking about Riptide, and look at you. I mean, you're not wrong. You're not entirely wrong. Uh, Codex here is just too much value, even though I do have tar pit trap in hand, and there's no like. I guess theoretically, if I just want to keep it in deck and not discard it, I can reload it, trench it, Codex. That resets the chain, puts bolt and shot back in, fire the bolt and shot, get the ponder. Just so we don't discard the tar pit trap, because it's a good trap. And then we rip one off the ponder. Hopefully it's a trap. We take it. We take it. All right, he's coming in hot for 3. I don't think he's aware that we don't care. What is armor in this match? Like, actually. Okay. Ooh. Turning on the old boulder trap, hey? We're going to save it. We don't care about this on hit. We're going to wait for what's next. I know I'm not wrong. Just admit you didn't know what you were talking about. Kadachi for 1. Is that you, Dagan? I know that's your I know that's Dagan's Twitter handle. I don't know if this is the same person. I was temporarily wrong, right? Just like I said Icelander was bad when she came out, and she was. And then Wounded Bull came along and she turned out to be good. Or she was bad when Prism was around, right? Riptide is pretty bad when Oldham's around and Dromai. So if those ever vacate, well, you got something. We want to see if he goes thin on resources before we play the Pitfall and this isn't the scariest. Oh, he got me back. He got me back, guys. Okay, it's kind of annoying that we lose a value and he has the floating resources to pay. But it do be like that. That's actually wrong because we want to pitch the Falcon Wing to the Death Dealer because we're never going to play it off the reload because of frailty token. So. Oh man, we could BM and put the -1 counter on the old quiver. Then you've done got. I guess I should have done this first, technically. But who's counting? Look at that. It was meant to be. I mean, this is never going to trigger, but it is a trap that can defend from Arsenal. So, um, and we got him to block. Look at that. Look at the blocks. Scared. Or not. Uh-oh. This is reactions, right? Activate a reaction. This chain link. So it specifically can't be anything. Because that's not even a reaction. This boy gambling, bro. Boy, is he gambling. Pitch a red. I dare you. Oh, pitched a rain razor. Hate to see it for you. Hate to see it for you. Unfortunately, we do need to block this endless arrow because it's going to give us a frostbite and put us in a bad spot. So we are going to have to give him tempo and just block out this turn, unfortunately. But we do give inertia, which keeps him from arsenaling this card. Got him. Try playing Promise of Plenty. I don't hate the idea. I do not hate the idea. Why doesn't this card block 4? Because, unfortunately, you know what? Let's go ahead and give this here. Because we're blocking with the card from Arsenal anyway. This deck doesn't really need New Horizons, not how it operates. So we can give it more freely than, say, Lexi. But we're tied up and they've been through a Rain Razors and a 3 of a kind and a Codex. So we're sitting okay. And we haven't seen our collapsing trap. That's where we can turn the game. And he has inertia, so he loses that last card, which is good. And we can just arsenal it and call it a day. Buzzsaw. Play premeditate. You won't. You won't. Chad, I caught it. Oh. No, because if the endless arrow hit, he still had activation on Voltaire, and he could have played it. Oh, did it not have go again? Oh, it had go again, didn't it? I thought it did. Okay, so he's about to get got. This says go again. He has 1 floating, so this is 0 cost arrow. Or like a Codex. Either way, we're definitely playing this. Knocks it down to 5, so we just block 2. Which would be here, because this isn't guaranteed, while this is. This card is so good. So good. Done. Got. Playing premeditate. I'll be honest. I don't think that I care. I mean, what I am going to do is I'm going to go and trench to possibly get a blue. Or even a yellow to play Scar would be cool. Or, no, it doesn't draw. What am I thinking? Oh, well. We'll just Arsenal a different card. We'll Arsenal the Infecting. I goofed there. But it didn't really change anything. There's nothing that I can do. Unfortunately. Ooh, go again, you say. We are going to have to leak the Blood Rot. But it will knock it down to 4. We take those. Last turn, I thought Trench was Crown of Seeds. Boy, that shit would be broken. It'd be broken. He said another one. Huh. I think we need to get some tempo. We could take this Scar, play pitch. Yeah, I don't hate it. We're eating a lot though, but okay. So my line that I was thinking was, since we took enough damage, it turns on Scar. So I'm just gonna play the Scar out, and then Lace with that basically guarantees a block. Or he could take a bajillion. I mean, it's fine with me too. Just trying to regain some tempo here is the goal of this play. I don't expect this to hit. I think he's going to block 3 cards in Arsenal. But it's so much value if this hits. Holy shit. He basically is going to fire 2 air. Yeah. The on hit here is worth 4 value because the Blood Rot Pox is 2, and then he fires 2 arrows is 2 from the Frailty. So I knew he was going to block this, but now we have full tempo. We draw our hand. We have no Arsenal, so don't have to worry about trenching or anything like that. We just death deal or draw more cards. Hopefully get some nice pumps. That works. I'm going to E-Strike draw a card here. And go ahead and snap it. See what we get. No reason to trigger Riptide. Not what we wanted to see. We have Red Infecting, I guess, is our best arrow. Oh, undo that. We don't want to load it. We want to discard it. Or do we actually just get E-Strike here? Because it's 7. Why not just send 7 instead of 5 on hit 7? Doesn't make a lot of sense. Let's just grab E-Strike. Because we draw off the ponder anyway. So let's just send 7. How do you put a value on taking tempo? Well, first of all, it's a great question. Second, it depends on what deck you're playing against. Against a deck like Lexi, where she's so tempo hungry, I think it's very easy to place a value. Oh, yes, 3 of a kind. That's great. Oh, man. 2 and 3 of a kind. Perfect. Mm-hmm. Why not, though? Why not? Yeah, it's very easy to place a value on it because in that instance, we what did we E strike twice for 12, basically providing enough on hits to where they had to block. Is mentally scarier. Yeah, I'll just send 7. Yeah, it's a good point. I could have blocked and then sent the 4 from the scar. But doing it that way, doing it my way allowed me to present 12 damage for no cost on the next turn. There's no guarantee that I would have drawn that. That's a valid argument. He has to rain razors here, right? Sure, boss. If you don't want to play it, I'm not gonna make you. I don't care. That's a good line, Shamir. I didn't think about that. I was kind of hoping for, because nothing that I had in my hand really presented an on hit effect. I was kind of fishing for one on the E strike draw card. It might have been a little greedy, but that was my thought process. But here we're definitely going to do that and then play this to trigger Riptide to put this in the arsenal. Sending that for 10 with 2 relevant on hit effects. Getting a lot of value here with Rain Razors. I think he's in a position where he's kind of forced to take this as much as he doesn't want to, and then just try to kill me on his turn, which is what he's doing. And I don't disagree with this at all. I think this is 100% the right play if he has a big turn. But if we could draw a collapsing trap one, oh, that's so good. Oh man. Sweet baby Jesus. Yeah, we had 100% tempo. So I just really wanted to just maximize that, because it's not going to happen too much in this matchup. So I really wanted to just maximize as much as possible. So here my goal is to obviously throw. I think here we just block out and kill him with traps. Is the default here. So we definitely just block out and try to preserve life. Go from there. He's not going to like this one, Chief. It is slightly wasteful because I actually should have blocked the Seek and Destroy now that I think about it. No, because if I did it that way, I'd have to block the Endless. So Endless and Frailty Trap would be... But the next one's not guaranteed to have go again. But I guess it is because he's going to fire the Endless Arrow anyway. So slight inefficiency there. I should have blocked the Endless Arrow and then saved the Frailty Trap for this one. I would have eked out one more value there. But you live and you learn. So I don't care about the Endless because at the beginning of your end phase, so you could trigger this. I do care about this one, so we will block here. And then we'll take this 2. Or 4, because of Rain Razors, duh. We just basically canceled out just Rain Razors. And it doesn't have go again, so he can't do the Bullseye Bracer, so he'll just lose this card. And then we'll present 4 while he's at 2. He has to give me New Horizons in a card. And then he's on a 3-card hand, and we should be able to just eke it out from there. But literally, our win con here is we have more cards in deck. So he has 2 choices. He can either not attack, or he can trigger our traps. And either way, he has to give it go again or +1, which beats the condition of every single one of our traps in our deck, just about. And so we're just literally just buying time is all we're doing. Is there any way? There's no way to do this. I just want a codex. What do we want to codex? Actually, we don't want a codex here, because Frailty will drop the attack, which allows him to not trigger my boulder traps. So for the first time, I never thought I'd say this, we don't want a codex of Frailty. We do want to pitch it though, because we can Death Dealer and Remorseless. Yeah, so we'll block here and here. That way, if he has a Lightning Press, we take 1 less damage. Very possible here in this situation. So we'll just pitch for Death Dealer. I could have Bullseye Bracers the Falcon Wing in. That was another line that we... There we go. That's what we need. Yeah, I probably should have Bullseye Bracer the Falcon Wing and then done this line. But we'll clean it up here. Do it this way. That's pretty good. But once again, we're just trying to kill him with traps. That's the name of the game. Unfortunately, this trap's not going to trigger on this turn because he's going to pick go again there. So that's completely irrelevant. So we're just trying to buy time. All we're trying to do. I'm gonna go ahead and send this trap here. And then we can load with Death Dealer and fire the Infecting. Why not? Because if he keeps playing like this, we'll just deck him out. Is what the end result will be. Yeah, my thought process was I didn't want to play Codex because it turns my boulder trap off. What was my thought process? Could have been wrong. But that's where my brain was. Cool. So we'll block with everything except premeditate, and then we'll pump the arrow that we get. Easy peasy. One cost, he can go grab any one cost. So here he has to either get a remorseless or a hamstring shot. We haven't played barely any pitfall traps, so we do want to keep the arsenal clear next turn. We do not want to have an arsenal when we're done. Yeah, I think we just block out here. Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right, Vera. That ripping all the cards is probably higher EV than it's just Codex, man. We're so caught in the mindset of it's an amazing card, and it is. Don't get me wrong. We have to pick something that we can play out. Basically, waiting for a trap that will trigger on the lightning press that he pitched. That is 2 hands away. 2.5 hands away. So I know I have one more boulder trap and a couple pitfalls. So we're trying to catch him with those. We also have a collapsing trap that we've still not found. It's been at the bottom of the deck this whole time. Definitely catch him on that one too. This ain't it. Rangers out here fatiguing Rangers. Tell you what. Where are these traps, bro? Thank God he sent that, not something worse. Getting close here. Oh, he got us. Oh, he got us. Yep. So I think we lost it on the play that Vera mentioned, where we should have just taken tempo with the codex and not tried to get fancy with the. Yep, that was my fault. Lesson learned. Lesson learned. Because this gets us pretty good. Yep. So we had that one in the bag, but I threw. I threw that one. Yep, Justin, you're right. I punted that one. Okay, we got a Dory. We'll go second against the Dory. Once again, we have to run everything for possibility of fatigue. Unfortunately, Tar Pit Trap says attack, right? No, it says attack. But the next time an attack action. Okay. So we can trigger it on Dawnblade. It just doesn't stop like a Supremacy on hit. Okay, that's okay. Guys in general are giving me PTSD of Damien. Drew my players. Oh man. What you got, bro? You won't? I just want to make sure I had an arrow. So I didn't block with that. Might have been greedy, but we get to 8. So if he does hit us past here, he comes off an arsenal. So he will hit us here. And we get to arsenal here. This is played from hand. So we start with a 5-card hand. Hopefully we can draw some pumps. This is super risky here because he gets blown out by inertia trap. I literally take his arsenal. No actual fucking way. Trench it away. Well, this is depressing. Yeah, I wouldn't block either. Fuck it. I feel like we lose way too much tempo. Fuck it, we'll snap it. Unbelievable amount of tempo by drawing this hand. And I'll put it down with the Bolton shot. And then if this one hits, load drill shot, fire it. And we turn a very bad turn into like an okay one. I'm okay with this too. This is fun. We're obviously gonna put this in the old arsenal. We're just buying time for the old buzzsaw trap. All right. I think I only want to barely. Let's see. Yeah, tar pit trap worked in a weird way. What's your favorite trap art from the Armory promos? I've been a fan of like the rock slide one or the tripwire trap. That's my favorite. You should block in tar pit trap to load your buff. Yeah, I should always load buff. Yeah, you're right. Um, I guess I'm trained in that mind of like the worst case scenarios. You don't draw an arrow, but you're probably I'm not familiar with the ratios here. Is the biggest thing. Um, Not sure how great it is to hold that. I guess there's no real reason because our plan is to premeditate drill shots. We'll do that anyway. And we can always trench that away if he doesn't have the answer. Oh, he's going to CNC me. Oh, dodge that bullet, bro. So we'll trench it out of here. And that allows us to death the Orden instead. And now we get a choice of arsenal. Man, this dude's allergic to armor, bro. Allergic to it. Oh, I'm gonna get the last of it. Say, Scootabot. No more armor for you. Okay, Vero, you said always arsenal pump. Yeah, it worked out pretty good. This trap, good. This trap, very good. He has two here, but I can't really afford to block with anything else. So I'm just gonna block one, and then when he gives it go again, we're gonna hit him with the old swiggity bot. I don't know if you should join General App. It's on site if you do. Oh man. Yeah, general chat can never be wrong. Never be. No. I'm probably playing this exceptionally below average. But it is a fun deck to play. I will admit that. Go again, you say. Well, allow me to help you. Send it. I can hear Damien in general chat saying that shit right now. He's over there. Send it. If anybody's looking for some wisdom, if you get in our Discord channel, we have a quotes section. Austin, it's definitely rated PG-13, so you stay out. But everybody else, there's some good laughs in there for sure. So we're definitely blocking enough here, and we even cover up the 3 pumps. So this is a potential blowout, but if he has twinning blade, it can... Okay, he didn't have the twinning blade, so that was an amazing play, if I do say so myself. And we're obviously going to play the one in Arsenal that the wise Vero directed us to do. This hand's good. And we'll trigger the Riptide and load the endless arrow. And send it for a big old double digit. How about that? With 2 very relevant on-hit effects, and he has exactly no armor. So, Dory, what are we going to do about this? I can't wait to hop into general chat after this. If anybody's looking for the after party of the stream, join the Card Guys Discord, general chat. There's always 5 or 6 of us in the evening time, just having a good old time, laughing, telling Damien he's bad. Just good time. Feel free to join us. Don't be shy. Everybody's very loud and abrasive, but I promise you, it's all in good fun. This is good. We like this. He's got a frailty. He can have no arsenal. We're blocking. I think we go here, and then see what he has. We will be laughing at you, not with you. Yep, after parties in the general chat with the Card Guys Discord. They're already there. They're there pre-gaming during the stream, just to give me a hard time. But that's okay because I give them what in the world? No, he's not. You're not about to CNC me for 10. There's no shot. Oh no. Don't do it to me. Oh my god. What's the biggest nursing you've ever seen, bro? Well, I'm glad I didn't like block a lot. Holy cow, man. At least this triggers and deals damage. We'll take it when we can get it. The nourishing to end them all is what that is. Okay, those are irrelevant. Intellect to 10, yeah, that would be something. So no armor here. Sending this if he doesn't have the old D-react. If he wants to 2-step the frailty, he's gonna give me 3 cards, which is a good spot to be in. He has no tunic counter for the blue shunt, which is a good spot. We just need him to not have a sink below here. Oh, he's taking it. Oh, baby. We'll Arsenal it again. Well, he pitched a red. That's a good sign. He pitched another red. That's an even better sign. This has no go again yet. So I'm going to... Hang on. Pitched double red. You took 7 for this? Normally my play would be rabble, premeditate, endless block with these two. But he has to have a 3-pump here. So we need to be able to block 7. So I think I have to give Falcon Wing and rabble to get my box up to 8. Because I think he's trying to utilize bolters. Because the only other thing that makes sense is he either has the glint in hand, and that's his only blue, and he wants to play it because it's the only source to go again. or he has another red and a singing still bait. He's trying to go reach for the glint. Either way, we have to block 5 here and then try to. Hopefully, he has the glint in hand, and then we can just collapsing trap after it resolves and then get the cards. Okay, there's the glint. So we're going to let him draw, let it resolve, let it get go again. And then we're going to hit him with a Scooty Pop. Oh, we got him. We don't get the hand, unfortunately, but we shut down this big turn. He had 5 cards in hand, and I shut it down with 3 cards in hand. So we win that transaction. That's a fact. I got a huge official Briar poster that is meant for some card stores over the weekend. Besides clearly you, the artist, and James White. Who should I get it to sign it? I mean, whoever you want. I mean that's up to you. Whoever you want to sign it. That's exactly who you should get to sign it. Chat, this is what mathematically happens when you fuck around and find out. Is this play right here? I think he has left. Okay, I guess not. But I'm all about teaching people things, and he learned something. This is the 3rd turn in a row that we have pumped a endless arrow and thrown it at him. It's been the same endless arrow. Imagine if Snatch blocked 3 and it said every time this hits, you draw another Snatch that blocks 3. Good card. Good card. So here we establish tempo. More than okay with that. And of course, we draw 14 bajillion traps. But this is actually good here because it triggers both of these traps. He's obviously going to have the resource to pay. But it do be like that. So we're going to go ahead and trigger all these traps. I really want Frailty in Arsenal, though. The card's kind of gas, if I'm being honest. So we're going to go Boulder here, and then we will... we might actually... We could pitch Pitfall Trap to Death Dealer the Sick 'em Shot down and maybe draw a pump, but I think it's kind of risky, so we're just going to go ahead and load that down in there, and then we can play that from... Bro, I'm putting counters everywhere, bro. It's just beat up. And we'll play that from Arsenal, so that's the only way you can play it. And then it still deals the damage. He does have the 1 resource he's going to pay, obviously. In an ideal world, I actually play this one first. And then there's a chance he doesn't pay it because I might not have the Boulder Trap, but I can't play it first because the old situation, you know. Just 4 vanilla, nothing exciting. But when you're at 30 and he's at 14, it's very exciting. All right. The card. The card that wins this matchup. Uh-oh. Damien's here. That means this is the last game. I'm just kidding. This is where dreams go to die, right here. Pass, Chief. Really? Really? Okay, you're gonna bolters here? Sure. Yeah, you got it. I'll just save it for next turn. Now the question is, we have two lines here. We can either play the Seek and Destroy, play the Bolt and Shot, assume it hits, fire the other Bolt and Shot, or we could use the yellow, pay for Death Dealer, and see what happens. I like the Death Dealer line a little bit better because if we draw a 1-cost arrow, we have the pitch if it hits. And I don't want to follow with the yellow Bolt and Shot. It's not that exciting. So I'm going to elect to Death Dealer in the red Bolt and Shot and hope we draw like something good. That's not it, but still a productive turn. We have the best trap in the game in this matchup. LO6, cool, yeah. Exactly. Now, in a dream world, he takes this, right? And then he pumps that bad boy up as far as it'll go. But he has the D-Ract here. He's going to shunt this, which means I'm actually going to Arsenal the Inertia Trap over the Buzzsaw because there's a very good chance he's not actually going to be able to pump it that much. And we could see like a naked swing. Yeah, you got it, boss. Bro, we about to legendary trap him up. You done messed up. I guess it's not the most exciting buzzsaw, but I mean, it forces out the pump, and then, well, he actually can't pump it. So this is not a very exciting, like at all. But it does just turn. It just shuts his turn off. So I mean, we'll buzzsaw. Deal with damage. My idea for my play is to go ahead and sink the inertia trap away, assuming he doesn't have another attack. And we will then Death Dealer with the resource, the Sikkim Shot, play the Sikkim Shot, then follow with the Scar. And then Arsenal this bad boy. He's leaking. He's leaking. And there's a good chance that he takes a lot of damage off this, depending on what he throws. Or what's on the top, anyway. Really want to do this and then this. So this is the weakest card here. And then we'll hold the trap. I really don't care about any I don't really care about any counters acquired here because he's at 4 life, so he's going to block his whole hand next turn anyway, which means it's going to be very easy to reset if he does. But I don't even know what he could have here to... sure. Because I want to sync this away if he doesn't have it. Fire. I guess situationally, the endless arrow is actually better. In case he does have a reaction here, we could block with that and then play, and it could go back to hand. Very minor though. So just get that out of there. We'll go ahead and lay it down. Go ahead and lace. Send it. Another breakpoint. It's time to bury Oldham in a cemetery come July. Just need to make sure it's not the pet cemetery. Amen to that. Boy. Who would have known that a deck with 20 traps is good against Dorinthia? Who would have known? What are you going to do when Briar LLs? I'll finally be out of an abusive relationship. No, I'll find a new hero. I'm not worried about me. Not one bit. Do we just take this and just like full send? Yeah, I'm tired of playing this game. So we're just going to speed it up. Rabble, E-Strike, go again. Pitch for the Heat Seeker is the plan. Multiple breakpoints, no armor. Should get him down to 1 or 2. Close it out with a trap if we absolutely have to. Or just kill him. Works too. Let's see. Yep, because this will deal 2 either on this one or the next one, which will put him to 1, which means we just close it out on the next breakpoint. Easy peasy. We still have New Horizons, so Heat Seeker is not going to lock us up, which is ideal. Yep, it goes to 1. He does Tunic counter swing for 4, depending on the hand. We actually could kill him with it. Nope. This is good. Oh, I should have. No, oh, I should have trenched out the. Yeah, that's my bad. I should have trenched that dealer pitch. Yep. That's so funny. Okay, chat. You guys are awake. I was just testing you guys. I was making sure that everybody was still awake. That's so funny. Oh man, that's good. That's good. Just please. I can, I can literally feel Damien's tone when he said Nathan. Like just like please no. Oh man. He said, "Oh no." Barry even said, "Please." It's almost like you knew I was gonna do that. All right. Well, chat. General is having too good of a time. I think that's one worth hopping in there and laughing with him about. Absolutely. Um, yeah. Did chat have anything that on site? Oh man. Okay. So, is there anything that chat wanted to discuss before I head out? That is going to be it. We ended up closing the game record at 2-1, and I even threw the one. So, theoretically, if somebody that had this is my first time ever playing Riptide, so like, you know, they're giving me a hard time. Um, and yeah, I might need to get you with some Riptide coaching. Absolutely, I definitely I cannot give coaching for Riptide. That is a fact. This is the first time I've ever played the hero. Um, and yeah, so uh, it's fun. It has its place. There's a lot of power behind extracting as much value as you can from the um first time ever playing FAB. Grace. Yeah, absolutely. Um it's all about extracting as much value as you can from each individual trap, especially the legendary ones. Some of them are kind of like, the reaction one is very situational against most decks. Um, but collapsing and buzzsaw is just so good against so many decks in the current meta. But I think Riptide has a lot of potential coming into the new meta where there's less Oldhim, um, and people are trying to compete against the Rangers. I think Riptide is a very solid pick into both Rangers. Um, the mirror match sounds like just disarray, but cross that bridge when we get there. So yeah, I just want to thank everybody for joining me tonight. It was a lot of fun telling the story about about Damien telling me he had the snatch in Arsenal. Really good weekend on the RTN. Got to play one more this weekend. Went over the deck building. Went over, what do we expect when Oldham's leaving? And yeah, thanks for joining me. And if nobody has any questions in chat, that's going to be it. That is going to be it. If anybody wants to hear me get flamed for playing Riptide, come to the general chat in about 5 or 10 minutes in the Card Guys YouTube, or not YouTube, Discord channel. And yeah, I'm going to hop in there and the sites are going to be on site. Oh, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. But once again, thank all of you. I think we broke 50 tonight. I really do appreciate each and every one of you. Everybody's time's worth so much, and I hope you at least get a laugh, maybe learn something, maybe learn what not to do, maybe learn what to do. I love any feedback. If you don't mind, kind of hit the comment section up. And do you like more of the gameplay? Do you like more of the talking? Do you want to see less of one or the other? Do you like where we're currently at, where it's like 25% talking, 75% play? Just let me know. I'm all about feedback, no matter what it is, and I really do appreciate it. Well, thanks everybody for joining me, and this is